only some good 6 minutes. بازاو مدة لسه بنمسي عليكم بقول لكم مساء الخير، مساء الهنا عليكم كلكم، مرحبا بكم لسه على خير من برنامج The Soundtrack اللي هو في آخر ساعة جبالك. أنا منشن قال لي أن بكون ندي فان and in which we are here with an honor to sit down with the visionary of course the culture diplomat. I can say that is Mr. Dawson Dow. He is not only a co-founder and executive director of South Sudan Fashion Week but also a key figure leading South Sudan fashion identity onto the global stages from BRICS to the African Fashion Federation. As we are celebrating a decade of South Sudan Fashion Week as well, we're going to be reflecting on how far we have come and where our creative industry is heading when it comes to fashion industry. So in few minutes, as the team is preparing us to go live on Facebook and YouTube, just stay tuned and keep enjoying Zoe with Chosen One. Now we are live on TikTok and YouTube. مساء الخير عليكم كلكم، إن شاء الله تكونوا كويسين and hope people have grabbed their lunch because like أنا في بعض من محلات بتاع مدينة بتجيبه في ناس بيكون أكلوا الساعة 10 وفي ناس باكلوا الساعة 12 في ناس باكلوا الساعة 4. أنا ما أعرف الساعة 4 ده بيجي غدا ولا ده فطور، لكن make sure that you keep yourself with some full energy because the day is a little bit long and we need to keep ourselves hydrated as well. As I mentioned early on, today on the soundtrack we are going to be having a very insightful conversation with Mr. Dawson who Gibelikana introduced later. He's a co-founder and executive director of South Sudan Fashion Week. Not also that, but also a key figure leading South Sudan into the fashion industry when it comes to the region, the continent, or even the globe. So, Mr. Dawson, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Diko.
You can just get
for having me.
Yes. How is the weather?
Well, amazing. I thought it was waiting for me because I just arrived the first day and
yes,
it was raining. That was really amazing.
So you just came over recent?
Yeah, I've been away for some studies a bit.
Okay.
And yeah.
All right. You're welcome to iReady. I feel like it's your first time, sir, to be this side.
Yeah, for sure.
The journey was long?
Kind of.
Okay.
And yeah. Okay. Not so familiar with the interviews with the radio, you know, we fashion people.
Yeah,
not
you guess
so
more on action people than just talking on the radio.
Yeah, you always find us crazy on the fashion events, crazy maybe in the workshops. But not so good with the radio interviews. That's why I guess this is the first time you're having us.
We're going to enjoy this because, as I mentioned, we're going to be having a lot of conversation regarding the industry. And first and foremost, in your own words, what does fashion represent to a young nation like South Sudan? Because like it's not just a style, as you have mentioned, but also it's about identity healing and even like changing the narrative or telling a story through wearing clothes or even doing some catwalking as well. What could you say about this?
Fashion is actually a representation of who you are.
Yeah.
So you usually dress based on what is accepted and what is available within your society. So fashion has developed over the years and as a way of the young people reminding themselves about the previous cultures and preserving our cultural ways and preserving the designs that we used to make before is actually a vital way of actually making the next generations getting to know about our culture and how it evolved.
Yeah. And as well, when it comes to also in the introduction we gave about you, like what more could you be telling them about yourself?
Well, I'm just a fashion guy, I'm a fashion designer. So I started off as a fashion model in 2012.
Okay.
And it's been quite a journey. I've been having ups and downs. I've been getting to understand what the industry was all about. And yes, at some point in 2018, I came back to South Sudan. I joined hands with Trisha Nyachak. That's the founder of South Sudan Fashion Week. And we've been taking through this journey from there. And with my expertise and hers, the whole idea was about creating an industry for South Sudan and being able to market the locally made brands. And I want to believe we've been successful in that. We came in when we had less than 10 designers. Today I can tell you have more than 50 designers.
Wow.
And in the process as well, we were able to be part of the BRICS Federation. So that is the fashion market that is made up of over 100 countries. And last year as well, were able to be founding members of the African Fashion Federation. So I want to believe that the task at hand is getting worked on, and we are not yet done. We started with the South Sudan Fashion Week, South Sudan Fashion Awards. We still have one last task of having the South Sudan Fashion Academy, and we'll call it a pioneering of an industry.
Okay. And when it comes to the history that you mentioned, like I would love to know the location, the transition. Maybe I bet it wasn't from South Sudan, it was from somewhere. Then you thought of, okay, why not bring it back home?
Well, South Sudan Fashion Week has never been out of South Sudan. And there's no day it can be out of here. We believe that just like every other part of the world have their own country's fashion weeks, this is ours, and it happens here. And its main aim is marketing the brands that we make locally, marketing South Sudanese cultures, and on the tourism aspect as well, bring people on board to South Sudan and let them see what South Sudan can offer and the beauty of South Sudan at the end of the day. So this is what we represent, and that is why we happen in South Sudan. So as I mentioned earlier, it started as a clothing brand. Trisha Nyachak, that's my partner, the founder of the Fashion Week. Started it back in 2009.
So this is a long of a journey.
So that's old enough. Had first 2 events, that's in 2012. Then 2013 had an event, and then went silent because of the happenings of then. Then I came in back, and we did the 7 editions with her. So it started from her. It's a very big celebration. It had to start at some point, and here we are, 10 editions down the line, but we're talking of 16 years of doing South Sudan Fashion Week. And at least we can talk of a bit of the positives, though it has been a bit of a struggle between individuals who are trying to put up South Sudan fashion on the map. It hasn't been having any support from elsewhere.
And when it comes with you and her having the solution to bring the other side of South Sudan fashion to the world, like of course you people felt both that there's a gap that is needed to be filled. What was that you have seen and say like, no, South Sudan need this?
Well, just like every other South Sudanese who went outside there to the diaspora because of one reason or the other, It's a matter of grabbing something that you're good at.
Yeah.
It's a matter of like reminding yourself that, hey, we just got independence. That was by then. And since I've been introduced to the world of fashion and I know how to do this, how about I bring it home? So that was the first point, and it keeps on pushing you. So bringing it home is a factor. Making it popular at home is another factor. We believe that one day South Sudan is going to be the hub of fashion, because all these beautiful models that we see on the magazines and we see on the runways outside there, and even from the recent BBC interview that you are able to see, it just tells you that we have the world's favorite models. Why not have the fashion hub of the world? It just comes when we support this industry.
That's for sure. And also when it comes to the signature of South Sudan of fashion, how could you compare it, or how could it be unique from the one for East Africa or West Africa? And do you guys have a philosophy of fashion yet when it comes to it?
Most of the philosophies of the African fashion industry are actually developed by the federations themselves. And yes, we have ways and guidelines that make us operate. There's some industries that make clothes to different categories of people. We have an industry that, like ours, that is sticking to a particular category of people that is accepted over here. So that is one of the factor. And working as a fashion week, we are a platform. As a platform, I'll say that our responsibility is actually to groom these designers, to let them know what they have to do when it comes to maybe the patterns, the cut lines. A bit of like when we have the fashion academy, then we are able to maybe educate them on the art history, maybe the textile design and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, we are developing an identity. At the moment, we are developing creativity. But when we get the necessary resources and when we put up the institution, then we will be developing an identity, actually, because we want to believe South Sudan has cultures. We've seen our cultures actually exploding outside there. We've seen our beading culture that's been there for the past. So we believe that with an institution, we can start putting up ways to make our own textiles. We have too much cotton. We have many other. We have what do we call it? We have a lot of sheep, so there's a lot of wool and all that. So, but now manufacturing the textiles and making designs that represent South Sudan, you see, it's still a process because the designers we have here most of the time get the ready available textiles and. They try to be creative.
I can tell you for sure, in many years back, like the identity wasn't found yet, because like especially when it come, I would love to take weddings as an example, in which in traditional wedding people used to wear the kitenges, people used to wear the Nigerian Ashobi attires, but now you see the beauty of the Laos in weddings. You see the beauty of the Bari attires. You see the Mundari that are wearing this, and I feel like people are now getting to know how it's so important for them to be having an identity, and especially going back to how we used to be wearing our outfits, and people are not ashamed of it anyway, by the way.
Why should it be shaming? It's actually very beautiful. Our culture, and I want to believe in the past when people were using whatever they were using, it was also media effect. Our media was not there that much. We have the media now. We have our cultures being popularized, and we have even the people coming outside there knowing that, hey, this is what I'm supposed to put on, and they actually feel like it looks better than what they will have had without having that information. So Well, with time as well, as a country, we have representations outside.
Yeah.
So we want to believe that they will also go outside there, represent, and our cultures get seen outside there.
That's for sure. And mentioning about representation, you did so well representing South Sudan in the BRICS Federation. You played a huge role in leading South Sudan fashion sector into BRICS Federation. What does it mean for a young nation to sit at that kind of international table and people now putting their eyes in South Sudan? Because before we do have the models outside there in the global stages doing their best, but now you being as Dawson in those table engaging with those people, how was it for you?
At one point there was someone who questioned about the models and the representation, and I like to state it here that with the models from South Sudan, they've reached the heights. Okay. There's nothing above that. Just like our bridesters, they've reached the heights. We have uncountable times whereby South Sudanese models have made it to be the best in the world.
That's for sure.
We've had it with the Dut before. We're having it even with the newcomers that left from the South Sudan Fashion Week. We're having it with Mamor. So on that aspect of the models, South Sudan is on the map. South Sudan has fashion's favorite models. So that's a fact. And when you have to broaden it right, then you get to realize that the fashion industry is more of the designer than the models.
That's for sure.
A model is an employee. When a model goes outside there to Paris, when a model goes to Milan, to London, they don't represent South Sudan. They are working for their pockets. When a model becomes the best in the world, they don't say Aduta Kech is the best model in the world and was sent by South Sudan. They're the best model in the world, but they're doing their life. That's their job. So in such aspects, models don't go there to represent the country. Contestants do that. That is what we usually confuse. So that when you have a beauty contestants like the Miss Earth South Sudan going outside there, they are going to represent the country. But for models, they're selling clothes and they're making money. And as South Sudan Fashion Week, we've been able to help them get to those careers. We want to believe more than 50 of our models are actually outside there working. And our biggest focus was still the designers and bringing people to South Sudan and bringing the world to South Sudan, showing people our culture, showing people our creativity, and and that is what we keep on pushing on. Much as we keep on helping these models attain their individual careers, we look at the bigger picture of helping designers be able to sell their outfits. Almost every South Sudanese walking around here, and they'll be able to support these designers.
And you can tell, like, from the way SKM is dressing outside there, you can see the taste, how it is, and it's a South Sudanese taste, Jama. So big up to that type of achievement. But also when it comes to the continent itself, I feel like Africa is also growing into the fashion industry, because like when it comes to you being a member of the African Fashion Federation, how do you think South Sudan's story compared to the African fashion capitals like Lagos? Because we have seen comparing to those people, I say like we will reach there. But what do you think the story that we can borrow from those people, because they already established themselves and they're doing quite of a good thing when it comes to the fashion industry?
Part of the positives of the BRICS fashion conference is that I was able to network with most of these heads of these fashion weeks in those countries. And that's how we came up with the African Fashion Federation. We believe in an African industry that is united, and we believe in actually promoting African designers because to our level, if we look at South Sudan, not so many designers usually have manufacturing plants. It's all small scale. It's all about making a few, like for instance, you're doing garments for weddings and stuff like that. So you don't get to broaden your workshop and have plans for manufacturing and stuff like that. So with the industries like the West African industry and the South African industries, they've been there for quite some time, and we also borrow the expertise. Like you've seen, even in the past, we've had designers coming from Nigeria to showcase at the Fashion Week. Most of the Nigerians or most of the people from the West Africa and South Africa, they also do model scoutings, and most of them are associated with the models that we have outside there. So they've also found a lot of interest within South Sudan. And at the end of the day, we believe that this is a hub. This is actually where fashion works and looks beautiful at. With all these beautiful models, you need to pay less to showcase. You need to pay less to do your editorials. That's by being within Africa before we send them to London, before we send them to Milan. So South Sudan is the hub of Africa at the end of the day. And if we really support these designers and if we develop this institution that we are on the road developing, then I don't see any reason that we are not going to get there with time.
That's for sure. And in talking about how a serious modeling or design can be taken as a serious career, how can we shift the public look or view so that modeling and designing are not seen as a less serious career? Because I can just you tell someone you're a designer or you're a model, they'll just look at you, does that thing pay? Even they started questioning you like, this is not a serious job to do. But we have seen, as we have mentioned, that the people who are outside there, who are South Sudanese model, they are getting some good money, bro. But in which we can see, like in South Sudan, still people have this negative mentality towards fashion industry, or even being a model, or even being a designer.
I think I'll put that to my own point of view. Apart from actually studying a bit of fashion and being a model,
so you did you studied?
Yeah, and we came to the top, and we're just trying to look at, hey, have you made it? And you want to tell the other person you have not made it because look at me, I've made it this way. So we have that challenge as a people, because the competition among everybody, the adults, maybe the other generation included, the youths included, the idea of who is doing what and of course doing nothing at the end of the day is a big question in South Sudan, whereby you want to be an engineer, be an engineer, then again you also want to be maybe a journalist. Why? Because you want to publicize your name, you want to open a podcast, you want to, like, there's so much that people are doing, but bottom line, what you do in life is what makes you happy and what makes you towards your direction.
That's for sure.
The rest, whether you're a doctor, you're an engineer, I think we're breathing the same air, and we need each other.
That's for sure.
As a designer, even that lab coat that you wear in the hospital, you need it from me. Or you need it from a tailor, not even from me.
There is this guy, his name is Jimmy, he's a politician in Kenya, in which he was mentioning, it was in a podcast whereby they were talking about how people undermine others, in which he mentioned about a situation. He went to a funeral. The guy was someone who is so good at picking malls. So the whole funeral, it was just talking about the guy, how he was good in picking malls. So the other person mentioned, like, okay, I cannot even myself pull a mall. So if that person have a purpose, or this is what he brought to the world to do, which means like everybody career also is very important. There is many jobs which are very important as well in a society, and that also reflect into being a model, even a designer. But also when it comes to the future of South Sudanese model, what could you say say about the future of South Sudanese model? And do we have a structure or training or agency that do protection to ensure that they are growing in a safer environment, even they are being protected? Because we have seen many such stories. For instance, yesterday there's a model, I think she's in Canada or she's in the US, that she signed up to be a model. She was chasing her dreams, but what she's left now with no home, and she's just moving in the street.
For the case of that model, I think I saw it online, but there's no verified information about her case. And there's usually a lot going on in the job market.
Yes.
You work for the media, somebody else works somewhere else. And it is similar with the fashion industry. They get jobs outside there. We don't employ them ourselves. So whatever that they require, not actually like we give them, because we provide the platform, they spot them, and they do business with them, they do contacts with them and contracts. So we don't usually involve ourselves with the scoutings outside there for now. I've been involved in that before, and even as I was doing it, I was just helping the young girls go outside there. I've never been part of their contracts. And so there's so many challenges that you get outside there, and one of the reasons you'll see that I stepped back because when the black models idea became a thing, I was one of the people getting the models. But then I realized at some point that there's an influx of these black models. For a job that needs 10 models, you see 1,000 models showing up in London.
It will be hard.
And you see they will not get the jobs. And now, because black models are in demand, there's an influx of agencies as well. Everybody's opening up a fashion agency. I want to sign you, I want to sign you, I will take you here. So they've had all those models. Mind you, our young people and the nature of how we trust ourselves, they don't believe, like when you tell someone, be patient, don't deal with those people. This is just the South Sudanese in Juba.
You're blocking.
The South Sudanese in Juba is blocking me from speaking with someone from West Africa. What do you even know? Let me just deal with them. So with such instances, that's where you get them getting scammed, because it's not like they pass through a channel where they come by, hey, I am a model, can you now help me? They open an Instagram account, just a normal human being opening an Instagram account, posting their photo, getting contacted by someone, and hey, I am an agency, let's do this together. Then the next thing, it is trafficking. The next thing you realize, you don't get your funds, and it is the fate of actually people who take decisions that way. And we actually believe with the structure, and with the fashion week, we usually do master classes. So with the new models, we usually tell them the way to go. But again, you see, every human being is a model. You can be texted even if you've never come to the fashion world, and you start traveling from that direction.
That's for sure. Getting back to celebration of the South Sudan Fashion Week, you mentioned 16 years, and the reflection and the impact. How was the platform shaped or changed the lives of the young models and designers involved? And if you could give us 1 to 2 names that you really felt proud, like, this is the product that I have worked on, and that really are doing whatever that they're supposed to be doing.
First, I look back at my partner. It's been a long way. Talking of the other 6 years, so the founder, that's Trisha Nyachak. It takes a great mind to put up such a thing. And even if I got her in the middle of the whole thing, just coming up with the idea was actually a big thing. Of course, there must have been fashion in South Sudan. Of course, we have fashion right now in South Sudan. We have another fashion week, like the Nile Couture Fashion Week as well. And at some point, people think and people do. And when you come to reflect at the end of the day, then you see that fashion is a thing right now in South Sudan. As you're speaking. So if we are able to dress our president, if we are able to dress our vice presidents, if we are able to dress our people that goes to the parties, to the weddings and all around, hey, this is still us. We're just beginning. We just came in. So I'll tell you, like one of our designers, like that's like Rialdo Fabrics was able to dress the president. Yes, he's been able to showcase in the regions as well.
Wow.
So that is the work of the Fashion Week.
Okay.
Through the Fashion Week as well, we've been able to unite people to South Sudan. Last year we had a designer that left South Sudan 40 years ago, has been a designer outside there in Canada and in the Middle East, and had to come back and showcase back at home 40 years later.
It's giving me some goosebumps.
Yeah, you can imagine. So such stories on the way. We have even designers, so the union from Norway.
Okay.
They want to come back home and showcase in South Sudan. Why? It's because they see what is going on back home here. So those are part of the impacts that the Fashion Week has made. And through the journey and as well of myself through the Fashion Week as well, we were able to go to Russia and sign in to be a partner for the BRICS Fashion Federation. So we are a member of the fashion markets of the world together with over 100 other countries.
Wow.
And through the Fashion Week as well, right now we are members of the African Fashion Federation. So I think those are a few things we have to reflect on. Not talking of the models. I don't talk of the models every time because that is an obvious thing. We are that beautiful and just expect that. And so many models have gone through the Fashion Week. So many models can even go without the Fashion Week. That is what we were given. That is the beauty we were given. And with the Fashion Week, we will keep on pushing and making sure that our designers are doing well and they're representing us outside there.
At some point, some of the interviews, it just keep me a little bit speechless. I'll just let them talk because like those are the conversation we really do miss to have. And those are some of the things because you are a fashion person, but you don't know there is some deeper understanding that I myself, I'm just getting to know about it today. So from time to time, I will make sure that I break such of the examples of Dawson and many more others. In order or in another way, if fashion mirrors a society, what has South Sudan Fashion Week revealed about us people, from our pain to our pride as South Sudanese?
There's a lot that is always said about South Sudan outside there. And when you get to hear about South Sudan outside there, I want to believe the concern is always the youth there. How are they coping with it? Have they given up? Are they still doing their best? Do they still have hope for tomorrow? And I want to believe through fashion and through all these people that are being involved with the Fashion Week. You've seen even globally now the BBC getting involved with the Fashion Week. In the past was the Voice of America, the French TV and stuff. So we've been able to sell out stories that despite what's happening over here, then our journey is still on. South Sudanese are still creative, resilient. They know that this is not the end to life. They know that despite what we're going through, at the end of the day, we'll still get it back together. And we will still be winning because we are meant for that.
If you had a budget of a 5-year from the state or the government today, to grow the fashion economy, what will be the first thing you want to do?
The last part of what we are left with is the fashion hub. So we believe that an institution needs to mother the industry, and through the fashion hub, as I told you earlier, that's where we're able to discover the various textiles that we are able to make in South Sudan, and we're able to learn ways of textile designing and patterning, and from that, now you see, we will have a very great identity of fashion, making the textiles from here, and being able to train our own designers, having sort of a museum of South Sudan designs, so that we don't lose track of them. So with that, we have an industry and we have an identity, and I think that is the direction we are going. Either we get it or we don't get it. We're still on our way there.
That's for sure. Do you think fashion can become a real industry? Because I can feel like it's not becoming a real industry, but I feel like it's a real industry, yeah. But in South Sudan, like, could it be creating jobs? Because already it's creating jobs. Is it generating income? In which I can see many of the fashion designers, some of them I know, some of them have even designed me, I can tell you for sure, boosting even tourism. Like, what is holding us back from not having all that, despite that few people are having it already?
I want to believe that a few of the designers are doing well when it comes to sales and when it comes to us looking at it as a source of income to them.
Yeah.
And you get to find out that they also have employees with them. So if I was talking of like, we probably have 50 to 60 designers in South Sudan.
Okay.
And maybe they have employed 5 to 6 people each. Then it tells you that we have 300 people employed. And mind you, we haven't moved further to the States, whereby in future, if the institution develops and someone develops as a designer and goes back to their state and start working. So again, fashion is broad. We don't end with designers. We have the models. They get the jobs to actually showcase the designer products, to do shoots, that's editorials for the sales for the designer products. So they're part of the people employed part-time in the process. We have fashion photographers. We have makeup artists. We have hairstylists. So it's just a number of people brought together. Without people being fashionable, they will not call you like, hey, come do my makeup this way. Yeah. So, but because they want to match this and that, then all these aspects are brought together, and the industry keeps on growing. But I want to believe the biggest problem we have in South Sudan is the media, because the media sees fashion as I don't know,
career.
It's an advertisement to them. It's not even an unserious career, because if we take like for instance, we play almost every South Sudanese music, but we don't talk about South Sudan fashion. You expecting our South Sudan designers to pay the media so that you talk about them? They're just like the artists. They're artists. They make their craft and they expect you to support them in that. And it's difficult over here.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's so sad, but support is the language. And what if it comes to 2035 is the year we host the Pan-African Fashion Summit in Juba, yeah? What do you want the world to see about South Sudan, and when our models are walking that very runway?
Working or moving around South Sudan, you know how beautiful it is. It's not a secret. You will even want yourself like moving to places that you have not gone to before, based on the facts of the few places that you've visited so far. So South Sudan is very beautiful. We all know that. South Sudan has very beautiful people, very beautiful cultures, and there is nothing that is always amiss when you come to South Sudan. And we believe that it's just a matter of time, and we believe that we'll put our shit together at some point, and people are going to witness what we are made of.
That's for sure. And as we are celebrating June for men mental health, what will you be telling that very male child who is aspiring to be a model, but with the type of communities that we are having, despite that they're undermining the fashion industry as general, but also looking into the male child being a model or even being a designer, they feel like, are you for real? So there's all these like type of thinking.
It's not always about that. You know, art doesn't usually get easy recognition. And even when we talk of art here in South Sudan, this famous vehicle, like car here in Juba, the V8, I don't believe even any of our musicians is driving that if art was paying anybody anything. So but what I'll tell them is that they need to focus on achieving. Okay, so when you focus on achieving, then I don't think you have that dispute of people telling you, oh, what you're doing is bad or not. Yes, like, to be honest, I've been doing fashion, and in my family they call me a nigger. Yeah, but notice when fashion was not getting anything to the table, I find other ways to get something to the table. So you not come to me and tell me, you, that fashion you're doing. It's the same way you see someone doing sports betting and what. Whenever there's nothing that they do somewhere else, that is where the problem is. You're doing fashion, and to be honest, to be a model is a game of faces. You'll know if your face is needed or it's not. So if you force your life 2-3 years, nobody has told you that, hey, we have attention on your face, instead of doing something else, then your family is right, because you need to do something productive. You need to be getting something back home, rather than telling people I have a career and you don't see the future of it. They don't see the future of it. So the world right now is challenging. You know what we're facing back here is challenging. You want to be a model, yes, but that's not everything.
That's for sure.
When it comes, when the opportunity comes, when the job comes, yes, you can tell them, excuse me, I can't do what I used to do because this has taken my time and they're paying. But if there's nothing paying you over there, then what is stopping you from doing something else? You can't be moving every morning saying that I'm going to train as a model. A model is just picked as a face. Like, hey, we like that face. We want you to do this shoot for maybe our brand, and this is what we're paying you. But if you don't get that, you don't need to move out every day. You don't need to train anything to be a model. You need to have the right height. You need to be having the right physique and the right face. So once you have that, and once you are needed outside there, well and good. When there are no jobs coming in and you're still growing, please try do something else, because at the end of the day, people still have to live.
That's for sure. One word. What does the next decade of South Sudan Fashion Week stand for, as we are finalizing our interview?
The next decade is a transition of fashion from wherever it is to South Sudan, because I told you that South Sudan is supposed to be the hub of fashion. And after finding out that South Sudan has the world's favorite models, then how about we popularize the cultures of South Sudan? We popularize what these favorite models of the globe wear, because outside there, yes, they sell clothes, different cultures. And I'm just trying to imagine, are those people not interested in seeing what these beautiful people do wear back at home? So the next decade of the South Sudan Fashion Week, I believe we were looking at bringing the world to South Sudan, selling South Sudanese brand to the world, and actually making everyone aware of our identity, starting from who we are. That is what they know right now, and that is what they see us outside there. Of course, what we are made of, they know that. And we need them to also get to know aspects of our creativity and our way of life, and that will be a process for.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Dawson Dow, the co-founder and executive director of South Sudan Fashion Week, but also a figure of a leading fashion identity on the global stages, from Brexit to African Fashion Federation. As we are celebrating this, thank you so much for accepting my invite, and hopefully it's not going to be the last time, despite the distance is very long from town, but we really need to be talking about this, and it's sort of an awareness to our community, sort of I don't know how to put it, like hinde bukun alama ino ehna ka junubin, we are also moving, the world is moving, and we need to be moving with the world. So I think with such conversation we're going to be reaching somewhere, and we are going to be seeing a lot of good future when it comes to the young aspiring models or even designers that we're having in South Sudan. Any last word or any shout outs you love to tell people?
Well, 100% South Sudanese as you are, iRadio. Thank you so much for having us, and we would like to invite you as well for our 10th edition, our celebration for the South Sudan Fashion Week. It will be happening on the 2nd of August at Pyramid Hotel. That is from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we would love to invite our fellow South Sudanese and everyone who is passionate about fashion to show up for the celebration of South Sudan fashion. Show up for the celebration of our 10 editions, and also remind the designers that the registration is still on until the end of the month. If you wish to participate as a designer for this edition of South Sudan Fashion Week, you're still welcome. And next week on Saturday, we have our model casting. That is where it all begins. So I believe all that information is passed. The casting is going to be at Pyramid as well, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
On Saturday.
The dress code is all black, so the models get informed.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dawson, for passing by. And to the listeners, in case if you have missed this very insightful information or even interview, you can always go back to our YouTube channel or even Facebook, because we have been live streaming on those platforms. From me to you, this have been the Wednesday edition of the Soundtrack Show. My name is Diko Andrew, aka DJ Rhino. It was loving having you around. As we are signing out, are you a lover of some good music?
Yay.
Which song do you want us to sign out with?
Yay. What they say, Susie Nadu.
Okay.
It's new to me. I don't even know the artist. I heard it from someone. I'm like, female artists are back.
Okay, no problem. We're going to sign out with Susie Nadu as we are celebrating the WCW. And this one is for you.
It's Susie Nadu.